It's the BBP TV show since 2012, where amazing guests share their digital adventures. Who will we meet today? Small biz influencer, up-and-coming trendsetter, accomplished author? You never know who'll be dropping by. And now, here's your host, Elaine Lindsay, the bionic glamourpreneur with Truel Social Media, who's the second most curious person on the planet.
Hello. It's wonderful to be back. I am so thrilled today to be here with someone who's not just really incredible, but is very important to me. And we'll get into that later. Welcome, Darpan. Lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me, Elaine.
I'm going to give everybody a little look into all the incredible accomplishments our guest has today. And I know that we're looking at someone who just looks so incredibly young. Wait till you get this. Darpan is our total nutrition, body, and blood hacker. She's a certified registered holistic nutritionist. She's a weight loss counselor. She's a certified live blood analyst, a herbalist, a homeopath, and she is the creator of My Golden Root. It's a fermented turmeric. I call it a tonic because I use it. It's phenomenal. We'll be talking about that for sure. And not only that, Darpan's on a mission. Okay, she believes in accessible, supportive guidance for nutritious practices because she believes, I think it is you are what you eat, right? Or you are what you absorb.
You are what you absorb, right?
That's the one. You are what you absorb. So welcome again. It's a very short sentence, but it's a very deep sentence when you say, you are what you absorb, which is so very true. I want to actually give people sort of an idea of how you got into what you're into as a total nutritionist and body hacker, and also as the owner of Manitic Natural Market, where you can find all the holistic goodies, and not only that, beautiful local crafts, phenomenal even keto products. There's lots of things in that store. Every time I go in, I find a whole new corner of incredible stuff. And there's just so much more. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let Darpan tell us. So my first question to you is, you decided to come to Canada, and who did you come with?
I actually came with my cousin who was the same age. We were 15 years old. He was a month older than me. And we decided to just come to Canada because we were asked by our parents. My grandparents lived here. That was their last posting after Zambia. And they were looking for some help around because they were getting older. So once our parents asked us, my cousin said, yeah, sure, why not? But I was just super excited. I was like, yeah, I don't have to get married. But, in our culture, in Indian culture, you do end up getting a little bit married earlier. And I never really wanted to get married, at least that early. So I felt like I had something else to do and explore. So as soon as my mom said, like, my answer was like, yep. I didn't have to even think about it. And she looked at me, she's like, you didn't even think about that.
Well, that's a huge change. And my God, at 15.
It is a huge change, massive.
Yeah. So you come to your grandparents, and what was your grandfather doing when you got here?
Well, he owned a health food store. So that was his retired after being an accountant for the embassy. He opened a health food store and I would help him. There's a love and hate story over there too. I used to take care of all the spices and herbs. He had the back and the back wall. He had like 102 spices, which I had to fill up. And they were tiny little containers because he wanted them to be fresh. But imagine 102 spices a couple of times a day with all that herb dust. You would sneeze and sneeze and sneeze and sneeze, and it was not fun. I hated them till I fell in love with them.
See, now that's a really cool story. Okay, hating them till you fell. And yes, absolutely, you fell in love with them because you've now created my golden root, which this fermented turmeric tonic that uses, I believe, a number of spices. And tell people a little bit about that. We'll get back to the story, but this is really incredibly interesting because it's been tested by it's
Yeah.
created in a government lab, and you tell the rest.
Yeah, so a golden root, something that I created about 4 years ago in my home kitchen, mainly for my kids, just because turmeric has a lot of benefits, and we as Indians use a lot of turmeric in our food. But like, there was a big hype on turmeric at that time where people were just putting spice everywhere, from protein shake to wherever. And in the Ayurvedic medicine, or in all the history and the science that goes behind turmeric, it's a fat soluble spice. And there's only so much your body can absorb at a time if you don't use it the right way. So many people were using it the wrong way, and absorbency of it is because it's fat soluble. It has to get in the system to get doing what it's supposed to. So how Golden Root was formed was being a herbalist, being an alchemist, and love to create things. I wanted something for myself and my family that would be a little more absorbable to get the full benefit of the turmeric, but also for my clients. So while I was making this for my kids, a lot of my cancer clients were getting on it and getting great results. So I knew there was something that I had created, had some merit that I should be bringing out to the world. So hence I took the next step of going through a GMP lab. So I'm not making it from home. There's a lot of pros and cons in making it home. Yes, it's cheaper, but cons are in your naked eye, even though I use a microscope. When you're using these herbs and spices and you're fermenting them and you're creating something, you don't know from your naked eye if there's any mold building in any of those herbs and spices. Because if you're going to exaggerate and make that into a next level, that bacteria along with it and the mold would go along with it too. So I wanted to make sure I had full integrity with the product, and it had full support that I'm able to sell all across the world, which I am, which is amazing. I'm totally blessed and grateful for it. So it is tested, each batch is tested, it comes, and then I can sell. So it is a creation of fermented turmeric, ginger, lavender, oregano, and black pepper. And each herbs and spices in there have a purpose in the body. So turmeric obviously is great for inflammation, digestion, immune system. Oregano is great for the immune system and helping with respiratory and bacterias. The lavender helps calms the nerves and works with the adrenal glands. Maybe some people will help with anxiety, and black pepper for just inflammation and support for the turmeric. So the whole complex is made with much thought to make sure that everybody, all the herbs are synergistically working with each other and synergistically working with each individual's body at the same time.
Oh, it's incredible, and I can say that as a dedicated user of my golden root. I know for a fact it's made a huge difference in our lives, and I really do appreciate that. I made that segue because I want people to see right off the bat the love you have for what you do and the depth of your knowledge. And I think it's wonderful to see someone with such a deep passion, because let's go back to the story. This is not what you intended to do.
Oh no. Well, okay, so let's go back, really back. When my parents asked me, did I want to go to Canada? Me being the naive little Indian girls back home, grew up on movies like, Dirty Dancing, Fast Forward, Grease. So in my head, I thought I would be walking into this amazing school forum where I would be able to dance and sing anytime I wanted. And I always knew I wanted to do something to help people. So I was studying into pharmacology. And when I was working, doing my co-op is where I changed my mind, when all these amazing clients would come in and we would talk about what they were taking. I'd be counting pills, and then I'll be like, but we're doing this. And they're like, oh, that's the side effect for this one. So as I was learning, and I'm like, this is great. And I think it's a great place. We do need the medication system. We do need the medical system in our society with great things they have done, great research they have done. But just my heart wasn't into it. I wanted to like go more holistically and food and nutrition and really get to the bottom of it instead of just masking and putting a Band-Aid. I wanted to get the root cause of what's causing the imbalances. And hence, here I am.
Absolutely. And in fact, you have now owned your store for more than 20 years.
Yes. So this, I bought this store from my grandfather when he was going to shut down. So he opened a second location with his partner here in 1997. And his partner was moving to Australia, and he could only handle one store where I was helping him. And in between going to school, working, and as a foreign student, I needed to make as much money as possible to pay for my tuition, because I always paid 10 times more than the regular individual. I jumped into buying the store off him. I just knew I wanted to do it, and it was great because I was able to make certain payment structure with him, which was great, and I was able to pay it in 2 years. So when I bought it, it was October, November, around that time transaction of 2000. So now we're in 2021. So yes, just over 20 years, and it's expanded from being a 600 square feet, what he had, to 2,100 square feet. Then of course, the unfortunate, my business burning down and then starting over, and now I'm in about 1,000 square feet place, and I'm happy doing what I am, very content.
And it's a beautiful store, and people, our audience will be able to see some pictures on the page on BBP, because there is so much to discover in the store, and every corner has something really fascinating, and Darpan has it beautifully laid out now with great little areas. There's even a beautiful window seat where you can enjoy a beamer treatment on one side, and on the other side you can sit and chat, which is just lovely, and have tea. We'll stop talking about the store for a minute and let's go back to you. Now, I know how difficult it is to rebuild. So once the store burned, okay, like that, the sheer will, the force of will that you have, the sheer focus, I think is the word. You're really to be commended for going ahead, because that's really tough. And you're not a single person. You have children. It's a lot to take on, not just running a store, but now rebuilding a store.
Yeah.
So how was that first year after the fire?
It was really difficult. Really, really difficult. Never obviously expect something like that to happen. So you're in shock mode for the first little while, and then the angry mode comes in, and then the depression mode comes in. So there's different emotions that went through the first year. I actually didn't want to talk to anybody, so I just kind of ran off, went to Houston, Texas, and stayed there for a good year, and just tried to figure out what I wanted to do. Ultimately, this is all I know. This is what I love to do. So had to rebuild. So we started working at my landlord's garage. He had a garage, and we just built from there. Insurance wasn't very kind for us, so that was very difficult. So we've done many things, including selling the house to get the money going for the business. And no regrets on that, because I think I am grateful, and it's nice to know where my path is, because so many times, even with my clients, sometimes I talk to them, they're in their 40s and 50s, and they still haven't done what they really love to do, because they're stuck in that, paying the bill, have to take care of the family, which I'm as well. But I'm grateful that I was able to find my passion early age and just kind of go and thrive on that. And I'm so happy for that. So no regrets on any as the stuff that's happened. Yes, we've had the downs and lows and ups all throughout this past 20 years, but I think that's made me who I am, and it's made me a stronger person. I'm a very different person than before my business burned down. I'm more grateful. I've always been grateful. I practice gratitude all the time, but I think that burning of the store just evolved me. Like I was like a phoenix coming out of the fire. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's so well said, because I really believe you have a calling. And it's incredible to me just how far you go for everyone else. Honest to God, I do not think I've heard of one charitable effort anywhere in the Ottawa Valley that you have not had a hand in. Anyone who knows you knows that you have a deep vein of philanthropy, and I think it's absolutely incredible, because not only that, you've given your kids sort of, to me, the same spirit. Your daughter at 10, entrepreneur with amazing lip balm. Your kids are getting a little older now, but how wonderful for them to see you persevere through troubles, and like all of us, COVID has not been kind to the small entrepreneur. But I think you're giving them such a wonderful grounding in how to carry forward as a human, which I think is really important. But what do you see as on the horizon in the next 5 years?
COVID has really shifted a lot of things, business-wise, emotional-wise, mentality-wise. I feel like more and more digital is what's going to happen. More and more online is what's going to happen. There is pros and cons to that as well, because I love that personal touch, right? Like with this COVID happening, I had to adapt, right? I had to adapt and go more digital, which has been great, and thank you for that. But it's been a learning curve, and I see in the next 5 years it's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger, because people are able to do things they weren't able to, or they thought they weren't able to in person that they were doing, like, going from shopping to appointments to whatever it could be. And the digital world has really opened up to be able to connect even like with people far away, whether checking on them for COVID, or as a client for me, I have clients all the way to Germany. Digital has made that very possible, and made it easier in some ways, for sure.
Yes.
But I see it going to the next level. Like, people will be doing like, those Star Trek virtual 3D pictures coming out in the 5-10 years. Yes. I see something like that. Well, I love to have the food hologram, but okay. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good, and that takes us right into where I wanted to go, because I think your concept of service, and what I'm talking about now, is Total Nutrition Diva on Call. Darpan is basically such a wealth of knowledge on all things to do with nutrition and holistic, and her blood analysis, quite frankly, blew my mind the first time I had that done, because she saw and caught things that it had taken Western medicine like 30, 40 years to figure out. So that was really quite interesting. And this concept, this Total Nutrition Diva on Call, it's basically like having your nutritionist in your pocket.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give us a little idea, like, where did the idea come from? And now that we are heading so digital, I think it's even more important for people to be able to have that connection. So give us a little bit about where the idea came from.
You know, I've always had different ideas in my head, and this was something I was thinking since 2015, 2 years after the store had burned down, and I officially launched it in 2017. And one of the main reasons was, no matter where I went, I was asked questions on health. No matter what social media platform I was on, I was getting tagged everywhere for any questions, any support, anything I could help with, and which I did, because if I have the answer, I'm happy to help, not a problem at all. And that just became into like where I'm like, okay, people locally are doing it. And then I started getting tagged all over, like people I didn't know. And it was kind of definitely fascinating for me, because I'm like, oh, wow, okay, so people are getting to know who I am and what I do. So I need to, this is what I love doing. So I want to just get to the next level. So how can I make sure that while I'm still helping people, whether it's philanthropy or free bono work, I'm still doing something that is going to give me some boundaries, and take care of me and my family at the same time. So hence the Total Nutrition Diva, the Diva on Call came up, which is you hire me as your personal nutritionist, just like you would hire a personal chef or a personal personal trainer for working out. Nobody had come out with that kind of a concept. And I want to be like the first person that people think when they think health and nutrition and supplements. With the vast amount of knowledge I have and amount of thousands of people that I've seen, I've learned certain patterns and certain things that I know are going to work without even a full consult. So when people can hire me, even for like 5, 10, 15, like whatever, I want to be able to help them no matter where they are in the world. So pick up the phone or text saying, this is where I am, this is my health issue, what shall I get? Or in front of like a wall full of vitamins and you just don't know which one to take. You just give me your 3 top issues you're having in the body, and I can guide you as to what to go, versus just listening to Dr. Google or your friends going, oh, this worked for me, because everybody's individual body chemistry is different and unique to themselves. And this way, they also understand what their symptoms are, because till you actually ask them something, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I had the symptom, because they think symptoms are normal, and they are not normal.
That's such a good point. And in fact, that's originally why I came to you, because people were suggesting certain things, but I have a set of very specific health challenges that, quite frankly, aren't like other people's, because it was man-made. And it came to a point where, I mean, you were, in all honesty, a total lifesaver. This is not an advertisement. It's not paying me to say this, but it has made my life quite different. And people who have been following the show, we've been doing the show since 2012. I think it's quite obvious to people that I am a very different person than the person who started this show. With the help of our nutrition diva here, I have now dropped more than 80 pounds. She has given me, of course, the golden root and other supplements, and managed them in a way that makes it easier for me to function. And that's so critical. I think we're going to come to a place where everyone has a Total Nutrition Diva on call in their pocket, because there comes a time you could simply be going out for dinner. Because yes, that's going to happen again, even here in Canada. We will go out for dinner. And just wanting to make good choices at dinner, having the ability to check with your nutritionist and say, you know, do I have A or do I have B? You know, I'm in a specific restaurant and the only options are these. In my case, it would be bacon, because it's always bacon, right, Darpan?
And I don't eat bacon.
And no, you definitely do not eat bacon. But having that, it's almost like a safety valve, knowing that I'm not going to exacerbate my symptoms, I'm not going to, make my life untenable. And all it took was me reaching out to my nutrition diva. We do it with personal trainers. You're absolutely right. My daughter-in-law is a personal trainer, and she too has adopted the digital world for her clientele because it makes sense. I see the digital world is going to progress, and there will be much more integrated ways of us connecting. Wearable tech is part of it. It's going to become sort of a part of our day to day. And I see your nutrition piece as being a critical part of that because people want to live longer, they want to live better, they want to feel better. And I can honestly say I for one do. So give us maybe the top 3 challenges that you kind of repeatedly see in people that come to you.
Oh yeah, that's really easy. You see a lot more than 3, but one is definitely the one that I've been working on, and that's why the Diva on Call as well, because when people are overwhelmed and don't know what to do, they're able to talk to someone with information and knowledge and guide them the right way. One biggest thing I find is, people wait for the last minute to come, and we know many people wait maybe 9 years before they come see you. People wait for a very long time, and I understand there's this trust, there's stuff that's building. Maybe they've tried a few other people and things doesn't work out, and they're just overwhelmed and they just don't know what's going to work, so they just stop trying anything and everything. But the number one is people wait for the last minute to come see me or any kind of a natural practitioner, and I would like to say make that a prevention tool for you. Just like you want to go, just work out regularly for health or weight loss, whatever it is, or you eat food because you want to make sure your body is going to have the energy and you're hungry, you're not going to be hungry. Just like that, take care of your health. Have someone look at your cells, your body, whatever, to make sure where your body is deficient and lacking, so you don't get to that disease part of your journey in your life, and it's preventative, all preventative. Second thing I see is, especially us females, we take care of everybody around us and we think of us the last. So I've had people bringing their kids, their husbands, their sisters, their mothers, and my question is, so what are you doing for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so busy. I have this, I have that. We are all busy. And I know I've been there too. And when I say that I'm a whole different person after the store burned down, it taught me a lot of different things. Like I worked my, bejesus off for so many years and I had nothing to show, right? So my focus became priority. I'm going to take care of me first.
Yeah.
And then everybody else. I mean, I still take care of a lot of people around me, clients, kids, parents, everybody, but I always make sure I have me time. Okay. So that's the second one. Tell people have me time, even if it's 5 minutes first thing in the morning or last thing at night, and take care of you first. Because if you can take care of yourself and have the optimal amount of health and energy, everything around you is just clutter, and you can't take care of the people you want to take care of at that level you should be able to without getting yourself sick. The third one would be people want fast, quick results. Okay. People are like, okay, so I'm starting it. Will I be good in 2 weeks? No, we are doing everything naturally here. You have not taken care of your body and abused your body for years and years and years. And finally, when the body is rebelling back, saying, you didn't take care of me, and here I am, now take care of me because I've given you something to concentrate on. Let's say that way, okay? So then people expect miracles. And I always tell people, like, you have to give your body time to heal. In the natural world, or in my world, I say, if you have 1 year of disease in your body, you want to give it 3 months time to just start working on it. And ultimately, yes, your body will get in balance and you'll lose the weight, but you need to get the root cause of why all this started, when it started, and why you're getting all these health issues. So we really need to focus more on me, focus more on taking care preventatively for yourself and your family, and don't expect things to work overnight, because these are not, like, not to say anything bad about the prescription drugs, but a lot of times people who have a headache, they'll take Advil and they'll get the relief. They want the same thing when we do it holistically. It is not possible, because we're not masking anything. We're not putting a Band-Aid and saying, okay, for our next day or two, you're not going to have a headache, you're good to go. We're going to be like, okay, we need to go in there and see, why are you getting that? Is it your liver? Is it your hormones? Let's look at what it is causing it. Yes, it's going to take longer, but then you're not going to be getting these migraines perhaps every day or every month during your cycle. We're going to start balancing your body, because your body is deficient, and this is its way of telling you you need support.
Absolutely. I think that's a really, really good point. And I think I read it somewhere once. It's like, you didn't get here in a day, so how do you expect to get somewhere else? It just doesn't work. And I believe when you talk about preventative nutrition and, health, I think that's a really a good model for us to follow, instead of only going to your doctor or your nutritionist or whatever when things are bad. If you go and maintain yourself in a way that prevents illness, I think in the long run, you're using the system better. Okay,
Yes.
you're dealing with your nutritionist, with your healthcare. Dealing with all of that better allows your body to function better, and your quality of life is so much better, like
And
ongoing.
financially, it's not going to be as expensive if you waited so long, because you've taken care of the body, mind, and soul all throughout, your lifetime. So instead of someone going, oh my God, this is going to cost so much at this point, but if you had taken care of it earlier, this wouldn't be an issue. So it helps in so many different ways.
Yeah, yeah. And there are so many different supplements, so many different types of things that you can use to help. For instance, before we started today, I mentioned the fact that one of my grandchildren has broken his arm, and Darpan immediately had suggestions for arnica pellets, which we will have to look into. But it's such a spontaneous thing. I think it's so beautiful, because when we serve in the way that is most appropriate, it just seems to flow, and I believe it will come back to you a million times. I so love what you do. I am so thankful for the new me, and you are definitely a big part of that, because you have made phenomenal changes, not just in me, in the hubby as well, which we certainly are grateful for. I will say that he's got you on a bit of a pedestal, so there is that.
Oh boy.
I I think it's wonderful, because healthcare has not been, let's say, a productive or nice path that we had walked up until just a couple of years ago. On that note, as we wind down, I always ask my guests to leave the audience with a little tidbit, something that you use, some kind of hack, because you're the body and blood hack nutritionist, something that you use in your life every day, whether it's personal, business, something that makes sense to you.
In different aspects. So I am, not because I made Golden Root, because it's like my number one thing, because it helps with so many different things and mental focus. So definitely deep breathing and meditation, 5 minutes to yourself. It doesn't have to be too long. It can be even just, definitely don't be meditating and deep breathing while you're driving, just go you zone off. But you can do different things. You can listen to different podcasts. You can do different meditations. Digital, as you see it, we have so much available. I definitely do check for my business the Facebook, and I have someone like yourself supporting and making sure everything is flowing well, because that is so important right now, because that's the only way of my connection to the outside world. Right? So that, making sure the food's ready for the kids, making sure when I come to the store, I say good morning to the universe and then good morning to my store, because, being grateful is really important. So even if you have something small to be grateful for, be grateful. It doesn't have to be something big, because the gratitude has this really high vibration and it just comes back to you. So the higher the vibration you're in, it will disconnect you from the lower vibrations of anxiety, depression. So always, and it's easier said than done, but try to keep uplifted and think positive. And I know it's so much easier said than done, but I've been in that path where it's been tough. Anxiety's been there, depression's been there, but you just got to pull through. So taking care of self is key, because once you take care of yourself, doesn't matter what it is. It could be a hobby, you love painting, anything that gets you in a joyful mood, you do that, because that's where your whole system starts to get happy. Your cells listen to you. Cells are always listening. So if you have positive things to say something, it will listen and your day will be better. If you have negative, you start with a negative day, your day is going to be all over the place. So just start your day in a positive way.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. I totally love that. And I do believe in a gratitude attitude. Always have. I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. I cannot thank you enough on a day-to-day basis for giving me such a wonderful opportunity, even at this age, to thoroughly enjoy my life. And it is a huge change. So big thank you from my heart to yours. Everybody will get to check out all of Darpan's information on her page on BBP TV. And trust me, there's a ton. You can reach her from anywhere in the world, not just at the Manatech Natural Market, but at Total Nutrition Diva on call. All of it's under the manatechnaturalmarket.ca banner, so be sure and check that out. Until next time, I'm Elaine Lindsay with my guest, Darpan Ahluwalia, and we will see you next time. In the meantime, make the very best of your today, every day.
By BBP TV show and True Social, helping small biz navigate